So it's exactly 12 noon and this is Baina Midday News coming to you live from the NAP House, Atomic Junction, Medina. I'm Khadija Kubra Keilani. Coming up this afternoon, Dame must be dismissed and prosecuted, says Asedu Nketia. Also, NDC's Japa versus Attorney General's tape has been doctored, MPP alleges, and special voting to be held on December 2nd. Remember, the news is also live on Facebook and YouTube at Baina TV. Do stay with us for details of the story. Thank you for staying with us. Now to our first story. The National Democratic Congress has called for the immediate resignation or dismissal of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfred Yabua Dame, amidst serious allegations of misconduct. The party's demands follows the release of a 16-minute audio recording that they claim implicates Mr. Dame's scheme to influence court proceedings against the minority leader, Dr. Kesel Ato Forsen.
During a press conference on May 28, the NDC's chairman, Johnson Asedu Nketia, asserted that the tape reveals a coaching session designed to influence Jakpe's court testimony. Nketia emphasized that the alleged coaching was intended to shape Jakpe's statement to implicate Dr. Forsen. The controversy began when Jakpe, the third accused in the trial, alleged that he had been pressured to provide testimony detrimental to Dr. Forsen. This tape, according to the NDC, substantiates Jakpe's claim and raises serious questions about the conduct of the Attorney General in this high-profile case.
But then the financial instrument for the project is an irrevocable letter of credit. So that credit letter has already been sent.
No problem. But in my view, that letter of credit area, the contract requires that you pay by letter of credit, not so.
Yes, in addition, we should establish it upon the front of the contract.
The national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asedu Nketia, described Mr. Dame's conduct as perjury, pledging to prosecute him when elected in 2024 general elections. He stated that should President Akufo-Addo fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute Godfred Dame for fabricating evidence.
The question every well-meaning Ghanaian should be asking is, why the Attorney General will refuse a proposal to settle this case, which will ensure the payment of 2 million euros to the state at a time our country is faced with economic bankruptcy. There was no wrongdoing on the part of anybody. Then somebody says he's sensitive about his company's reputation and so on, so he's prepared to pay 2 million euros to Ghana. I'm saying no. If I take it, Ato Forsen will not go to jail. So let that 2 million go waste, and I find way of contriving evidence to get Ato Forsen nailed. These are the statesmen we have. Ladies and gentlemen, considering the scandalous nature of this recording and other forms of evidence we have shown you, we wish to make the following pressing demands as part of efforts to restore credibility to the Attorney General's office and Ghana's judicial system as a whole. 1. The immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of Godfred Dame for bringing the high office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice into disrepute and public opprobrium. Clearly, Mr. Dame is not fit to hold himself out as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He is unfit to be the leader of the Ghana Bar. 2. The immediate prosecution of Godfred Dame for multiple violations of the laws of Ghana. We wish to make it clear that should President Akufo-Addo refuse or fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute Godfrey Dapo for this heinous crime of fabrication of evidence.
Asedu Nketia alleged that the government has no evidence of wrongdoing against the minority leader and is only interested in fabrications to prosecute him as retributions for his strong opposition to the economic mismanagement.
And now, in a quick response, the MPP has described the tape recording as doctored and accused the opposition NDC of attempting to help the minority leader, Dr. Atuforsen, evade justice in the ambulance case, dismissing the claims that the prosecution of the minority leader in Parliament is politically motivated.
Addressing the press on Tuesday, May 28, in response to the NDC's revelations, NPP legal practitioner Frank Davis stated that the tape contained repetitions, overlaps, and voice distortions. He claimed that the NDC has spent the past days manipulating the alleged tape. Mr. Davis argued that the Attorney General never requested the third accused to falsify any evidence in the prosecution's favor, even in the alleged doctored tape produced by the NDC.
It's played. The alleged conversation is supposed to last 26 minutes. The NDC schemed to play only 60 minutes. 16 out of 26. The question is, where is the rest of the tape? Even in respect of what was played, it is apparent that there are repetitions, overlaps, incoherence, voiceover, and distortions, demonstrating that the NDC has spent these past days distorting whatever tape they played. It is no wonder that even this afternoon, we are caught in the same trap anyway. Even this afternoon, instead of commencing the press conference at 2, they had to wait till about 3 o'clock because they were still doctoring. We haven't doctored. We are presenting to you the facts as they are.
Frank Davis stressed that the claim that Dr. Forsen was being prosecuted for being the minority leader was baseless and devoid of truth, saying it is a ploy to derail the trial.
What at all do the NDC want from this young man? The youngest Attorney General the country has ever produced is working in the best interest of the nation. Yet, these people will not let him rest. The latest allegation by Richard Japa, the third accused and an associate of Kesela Atuforsen in this botched ambulance procurement transaction, is therefore only a further ploy contrived to curtail the prosecution of Atuforsen and smear the Attorney General's integrity and reputation. But this, I can assure you, will not work.
He stated that the law is blind to titles and political affiliations, saying it is the duty of every citizen to uphold the law.
We firmly believe that public officials, regardless of social standing, must be treated equally before the law, and they should be accountable for their use of public resources. Needless to say that the law is no respecter of persons. Ladies and gentlemen, the allegations by Richard Japa that the AG has on several occasions met him in private at odd hours and in person on phone to coax him to implicate the accused person is a complete variance with the prevailing facts. In fact, it is laughable.
Davis further emphasized that the prosecution is solely based on the evidence at hand and not on Dr. Forsen's political standing, stating that the prosecution of Kesela Atuforsen commenced even before he became minority leader, making worthless and nonsensical the suggestion that he is being prosecuted because he is the minority leader.
This pressure stems from some warped and baseless logic of the NDC that the Atuforsen's prosecution is politically motivated and his leader in Parliament should be immune from prosecution, even when the facts indicate conduct resulting in financial loss to the state. As mentioned earlier, investigations commenced as far back as 2017, making it imperative to ask at this stage, why is Atuforsen, the only government official, being prosecuted from all other former ministers from whom statements were taken? Your guess should equally be good as mine.
Responding to demands from various functions, notably the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, for the Attorney General's resignation, Frank David said the Attorney General will continue to perform his duties with intelligence and determination.
Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission will hold a special voting session on December 2nd, 2024, ahead of the general election scheduled for December 7th. Special voting is a provision for a specific group of registered voters, including journalists and security agencies, allowing them to cast their vote before the general voting day.
To be eligible for special voting, individuals and organizations must submit applications between June 17th and July 1st, 2024, providing evidence that they will be engaged on the election day. Jean Mensah, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, made this announcement during a press conference in Accra on Tuesday. She said applicants for special voting can apply directly to the returning officer of the constituency where the applicant is a registered voter. According to her, members of institutions who desire to apply as a group should submit a list of their members to the returning officers to serve as a register to facilitate the process. This list, she said, must contain the names of each applicant, the voter ID card, and polling station code, just as it appears on the voter's ID card of the applicant. She added that all applicants must apply in person to the returning officer.
Now in business this afternoon, the Ghana cedi posted a mixed performance last week as demand pressure on the US dollar eased for most of the week. However, this week the cedi is expected to extend its losing run a bit marginally because foreign exchange demand is outstripping supply. But it began the week stable to the American greenback with the year-to-date depreciation at 17.88%. It is presently going for 14.90 Ghana cedi to a dollar in the retail forex markets.
Despite the central bank not intervening in the spot market, the cedi gained 0.17% week-on-week against the US dollar to end the week's trade at mid-rate of 14.83 to 1 American greenback. The unit also depreciated 2.90% week-on-week against the pound following the hotter-than-expected UK inflation. Additionally, the cedi lost 6.03% week-on-week to the euro due to the encouraging Eurozone economic indicators. Ghana's reserves increased by 4% month-on-month to $4.3 billion in April 2024, albeit a 6% month-on-month increase in refined oil import bill. Currency analysts believe this growth emanates from positive trade balances and the $300 million World Bank inflow in April 2024. As a result, the central bank improved its spot interventions by providing $94 million month-to-date support to help keep the cedi afloat.
The Food and Drugs Authority in the Northeast region has launched a crackdown on drug abuse in the region, seizing and destroying over 200 medical products, including tramadol, which is commonly abused by the youth. The FDA seized the illegal drugs in a joint operation with the Gambaga and Nalirigu Youth Association, National Investigation Bureau, Narcotic Control Board, and other stakeholders.
Jacob Amwaku Mensah, the region's head of the Northeast Region Food and Drugs Authority, warned the youth to refrain from drug abuse, saying that addiction can lead to detrimental effects on their lives and contribute to criminal behavior. The destroyed drugs were seized from various locations in Gambaga and were worth thousands of dollars. The operation was part of a sustained effort by the FDA to combat drug abuse in the region. Drug addiction among the youth is a serious issue in Ghana, and the FDA has been working to reduce its prevalence. The agency is urging parents, teachers, and community leaders to help prevent drug abuse among young people. Amwaku Mensah advised the youth to stay away from tramadol, since it is difficult to treat patients who become addicted to the drug.
And in health, this afternoon, a one-day conference has been organized by My Companion to mark this year's World Menstrual Hygiene Day, observed across the world to spotlight the importance of menstrual health. The conference, dubbed Flow with Dignity, took place at the British Council in Accra on Monday, May 27, 2024.
Since its inception, My Companion has been committed to promoting menstrual hygiene education and ending period poverty in Ghana, reaching countless young girls with vital education resources. The first ever Flow with Dignity conference brought together experts, community members, and advocates to deliberate on menstrual hygiene and solutions to period poverty. Addressing the conference, founder of Ignite Youth Empowerment Initiative, Obuobia Dako Opoku, highlighted on various challenges faced by teenage girls. She noted, among other things, insufficient knowledge about menstruation as major contributor of period poverty, and called on the society, especially parents and teachers, to come clear with the girl child on matters of menstruation.
Another aspect of period poverty is something I want to talk about. It's about the limited education about that particular subject. Insufficient knowledge about menstruation, which can lead to stigma and misconceptions. A lot of education needs to go into menstruation. And I'm very happy to see students from various schools present here today with their teachers. Now, to my teachers, I want to entreat you to take menstrual education seriously. I see that many of you do not even want to touch the subject because you simply think that it's not something that should be discussed in the public. But where is the public? Period is natural. Every woman here will go through it so far as you're growing up. There's nothing like hiding it. Your mother went through it. Your daughter will go through it. Your sister will go through it. Every woman on earth at one point in time, if not for medical conditions, through periods. So I don't think that it's difficult for us to talk about it and educate our young ones who are up. So I entreat all teachers, have a conversation with these girls, and a frontal one at that. Let them understand what periods are, and let them know that it is something that comes with growing up. Educate them on how to embrace the fact that menstruation is natural and they shouldn't shy away from it. Teach them how to keep themselves clean during their periods, and also the necessary items they will need to manage their periods. Knowledge is empowerment. When they know, they will be empowered. Every young girl in school or at home deserves to be educated on menstruation. We must create platforms where open discussions take place, free from judgmental figures and shame. Education not only dispels myths, but also equips girls with the tools to manage their periods effectively. We must enlighten them about hygiene practices, proper sanitary product uses, and the importance of seeking medical assistance when necessary. We can't leave this for our teachers alone. And I want to talk to parents, sisters, etc. When you have the young ones at home, please don't hesitate to tell them what their monthly periods are about. What happens when it arrives, and the process that they have to go through whilst they are in the process of their periods. It is not anything that can simply not be discussed. It's time to take action, to put in more efforts, because some of the stories we hear these days are alarming. And at this age, we are still talking about periods. By now, it should be something that is on our lips, and we just train every young girl to go through it naturally. Because of some of these stories, it's better they learn it from us than going online to take some advices that may not suit their biological body. And these days, many of you are going onto internet, social media, and all that to learn all sorts of things. But trust me, if you talk to your sister, your mother, your teacher, or the adult figure in your life about your periods, you get a better education than going online to learn about your periods. If that young girl comes to you on her first period, sit her down, advise her, teach her how to fix even her pad in her panty. Tell her the do's and don'ts. Education on menstruation isn't only telling them they would get pregnant if they see the opposite sex. And that is all we do.
She also took the opportunity to eulogize the founder and president of My Companion Foundation, Asana Isaka, for her commitment and dedication to eliminating period poverty.
I'm particularly proud to be here as a guest of honor, as I said earlier, but I am proud that Asana has come up with this, and I'm so impressed. Asana, your commitment and tireless efforts to eliminate period poverty are nothing short of extraordinary. Your leadership has motivated a movement that is changing lives, and I'm incredibly proud of you and your dedicated team.
The importance of menstrual health and hygiene is increasingly recognized as an integral element in the promotion of public health, the advancement of gender equality, and the safeguarding of human rights, well aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. The theme for this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day is #PeriodFriendlyWorld, with a particular focus on schools, communities, and displaced persons. It also focuses on support menstrual materials, infrastructure, and education that break down taboos and increase access to menstrual hygiene for all.
Let's do some sports now. The Black Starlets paid tribute to departing head coach Lai Kinson during their third-place playoff game against Nigeria on Tuesday, May 28. The three of the players, Benjamin Siavanyo, Bilal Ajavi, and Mark Kagawa Mensah, showed inscriptions on their undershirt expressing their love for the former Ghana international following Ghana's second goal in the game.
I don't like talking about myself. But for once, I will do that. I like talking about my technical team, and I always use we. But this time, I will talk about myself.
Kingston announced his decision to step down from his role as the team's head coach following the defeat to Burkina Faso on Saturday, which meant they failed to seal a slot in the final. He, however, didn't make public the reasons behind his decision to resign and was accused by the Ghana Football Association of abandoning the team with the tournament still ongoing. Kingston has since gone on to apologize for the way he handled the situation. The players were keen to express their appreciation for Kingston's role in their development as they had the inscription "We love you LK7" on their undershirt during the game against Nigeria. Ghana went on to lose the game 2-3, with Nigeria now taking the third position.
So in this case, I'm resigning. After this tournament, I'm resigning as an assistant coach. I've made that decision already before this tournament starts. The explanation will come out later.
Now, this is how we end our midday news. For more stories, log on to our website, bainamultimedia.com. I'm Khadija Tukubra. Kaylani, have a good afternoon.